Hey guys, so I'm back with another Harley Benton product. This is their jazz bass copy, the JB something. JB-75 maybe? Of course it doesn't say on here. I'll put it in the title and description of the video. But it's their copy of a jazz bass. I've always wanted a jazz bass. And you don't have to hide from the camera, Zane. I've always wanted a jazz bass. And this young man here that I've been working with has... What kind of bass do you have?
It's a bullet bass deluxe from 80.
And so that kind of inspired me, reminded me that I really wanted a jazz bass. And then my guitar tech, Greg, who you also know, I believe.
That's correct.
Had a really nice Mexican. Were you there when he showed that that jazz bass?
Yeah.
He had a really nice Mexican jazz bass. And I wanted it, but I couldn't justify spending. He like outfitted it with all new pickups and all new electronics and all new this and that. I think he put an American neck on it, and he really went to town on it. And I couldn't, and so he was selling it for $600, which probably it had to have been a good deal because it sold like the next day. And he probably would have given it to me for $5, but even then I couldn't justify spending $5 on a bass, and I'm not a bass player. So it seemed like the perfect opportunity to try the Harley Benton copy because it's only 130 euros, which translates into how many dollars, do you know?
160 or something like that?
That's less than that. But yeah, it was not, maybe 150, maybe it is 160, I don't know.
It's a little bit more. I know that.
More than, yeah, it's a little bit more than $130. And it seemed like I mean, I checked on the Harley Benton Facebook groups and everybody's like, oh, the JB is so great. And I was like, for 130 a bass? But I really, I mean, I've loved all the other Harley Benton products I have. You guys have hopefully seen my video of the Prince Telly, which Zane's got over there, and the 335 copy and the Brian May copy, and yeah. So I said, well, I mean, they don't make bad stuff, so, must be pretty good. But I was still kind of surprised at how cheap it was. So got it, came in yesterday, did an unboxing video, which you may or may not have seen. This is our first time trying it out. I've got an SWR Goliath cab over there with an Ampeg bass head. It's my favorite sounding bass cabinet, my favorite sounding bass head, although I've never tried them together before, so this is a new experience as well. I've used the Ampeg head with my Hartkey cabinet and the SWR cabinet with my Fender head. And I'm not a bass player, but I occasionally have to play bass on a session, and so it's just nice to have a couple good basses in the house. I'm going to actually sell my Dean, because the reason I didn't want the Dean and the reason I didn't want a P bass is because I like having two pickups. Because sometimes you get hum and interference and noise, and so it's nice to be hum canceling. Yeah, he's kind of off the frame, but yeah. The Dean is nice, but it's only a single pickup bass like a jazz bass. No, just in case somebody wants to buy it, don't thumbs down it. Thumbs up. Great. Oh, great bass. Got that from Greg Ginter's Guitar Shop, too. So, again, I'm not a bass player, but we're going to play with this a little bit. Zane's going to play guitar, and then we'll switch. So we can have some fun with it. So, just demonstration. It's built like a jazz bass. I don't know what else to tell you. It's got 2 single coil pickups, separate volume knobs, tone knob, bolt-on neck. Came out of the box with the action really low, which is great. I mean, I love low. Who doesn't love low action? But the strings were buzzy when they were open, so I tweaked the truss rod a little. And it's still really low, but not nearly as buzzy as it was. The strings that come out are nice and bright. I like bright bass strings. It's the only downside is it's got to be one of the heaviest basses I've played. Like, it's easily twice as heavy as the Dean, maybe heavier. And it's probably heavier than this Telly. This is a pretty heavy Telly. So I would hate to play this standing up on stage for hours. But for me, using it around the studio here, So here's the neck pickup. And you are getting a little single coil hum. Bridge pickup. And then that's the reason I wanted a bass with 2 pickups, because then I put them together and it goes away. That's what I was doing earlier. Do that. Do that. playing it right. So that bass player. She's Strange by Cameo. I'll show you the guitar part when we switch. You can play along on guitar if you want to.
I got no,
Oh, what'd you do with it?
I didn't do nothing.
It's got to be on the part of the Parker then.
Oh, I did do something.
Yes, he did something with it. Did you change the settings on the amp?
No.
It sounds different. Maybe just kept sitting over here.
You want louder?
Not so much louder. It seems like it's not as deep as it was. Somebody turn the bass down. What you doing?
I'm just trying to figure out how it makes noise.
Well, when I turn it back on, it makes noise. You were on punishment, so it was off.
Oh, yeah.
Play. What are you doing? Take a turn at the bass though, and just kind of talk to the camera what your thoughts are on the bass.
Okay.
So Zane's a young musician, but he's he's got a lot of heart, right? That's what you always say. Got a lot of
I
heart.
have a strong back.
Strong back. He's got a strong back, so it's good because it's heavy bass. Weak mind. Well, try not to be too weak. Give them your opinion on the bass.
Okay.
I'm gonna show you that. Cameo song.
Dan's a all the way up kind of guy. Here's it with the tone down.
Thank you for that. 'Cause, yeah. What are you playing? It sounds familiar, but I can't place it.
Well, I don't know. It just sounded like a nice bass sound.
You playing any church music? Do quartets, yeah. So what are your thoughts of the bass? You got the real thing, so.
I would say, I would say it sounds fine. I mean, there's nothing I could complain about. It sounds nice turned all the way up.
there's really only like one. Let me figure out what key would be in. So it's an F. That's the whole song. The guitar is doubling the bass line, but all it does different than that is the. That's what I was playing earlier, but I was playing in E flat, so it'd be
E or E
what?
flat?
That's in E flat. That's not the song. Okay. How about this one? No, yeah. You do an octave down. So the beat is just 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. That's at the end of 1. 4, 1, 2, 3. When the video's not on, I'll play it for you, but I don't want to get a copyright strike.
Oh, I see.
Here, I got another thing to try. Here, go ahead, take the guitar, the guitar.
Alright, I'd like
Take
it
the
back
guitar.
before you end it.
You want the bass back before I end it?
Yeah.
It's my video. You can make your own video.
Okay.
So how about 1, 2, 3, go. Nope.
I can't remember how it goes.
So.
Well, I can't
1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so the other one's in. Those chords gotta be there though. Yeah, nope.
I can't remember how.
So bar there, and then they play a minor seven. Yeah. Yep, and then da down there, and then add the last finger. Yep. Ba 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 ba. That's the chord, though. Yep. make sense when I show you the song. He's never heard She's Strange before. Not everybody has. So, anything else that we should talk about the bass or show it on the video?
Something pretty.
Something pretty. What?
Pretty and not slappy.
I'm not a bass player. I only know how to do
slap.
slap.
Do something pretty.
You try to do something pretty and show them something pretty with the
play
bass.
something pretty alongside it.
No. What do you think I am, a girl? Jeez.
Now you're gonna get used. Now you're getting used. Oh, God.
Well, the comment section of YouTube is pretty much always trash anyway, so. How about Autumn Leaves? You know Autumn Leaves?
I don't know how all of it goes.
How about where's the tuner? Give me the tuner. I think the guitar's a loud tune. So the bass has stayed in tune very well since I got it. Obviously I adjusted the truss rod and it was in a cold automobile in the mail truck on its way here, and it stayed in tune pretty well for being brand new out of the box. It's not gonna be backwards. It'll be because that's your viewfinder. It's gonna look right when it's on the computer. At least it should. Do you even know that song?
Probably. I mean, it's one of the older things.
Yeah. He played a J bass or P bass. Now I can't remember.
He played a. I don't.
I'm just thinking.
I think it was a P bass. Don't
P bass. P bass makes more sense.
Because I think it was. It had the covers like that.
Yeah.
And I think it had the one like that. So
yeah. I was just trying to think about the relevance of that song with the video.
Well, it's a pretty song and it's got bass on it.
That's true.
So
we could do When Doves Cry.
It's not a pretty song with bass.
It's very pretty, but it's got no bass. That's why I said you said it's a song that's got bass on it. I was trying to think of a song that doesn't have bass.
There's no bass at all.
There's no bass on When Doves Cry.
What?
Oh, as soon as the camera stops, we're listening to that. You've homeworked, my friend. Yeah, no bass on When Doves. In fact, the original version of When Doves Cry had a bass. And Prince was listening back in the studio, and he's like, "They'd never believe I'd ever do this." And he took the bass out. And I believe Questlove has heard the original version of the bass, but I could be wrong about that. So what else? So you wanted to have the bass back before the video's over. Anything else you want to say?
It's a lot of fun to play. I mean, it plays good. If you don't know how to set it up and it's not to your liking, bring somebody who does know how to do it. But
that's true.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with this. There's nothing that I would be like, oh, I wish I had this.
I wouldn't tour with the Harley Benton product just because my experience touring with lower end guitars is that they don't hold up as well on the road. They generally just need more tweaking just because the wood's cheaper. That's the only reason. So the wood ends up warping more as climates change and stuff, and you need to adjust your truss rods more and stuff like that. So I wouldn't tour with Harley Benton guitars. I pretty much exclusively tour with expensive guitars because they just tend to be very consistent on the road. But locally, and even in the studio, I would absolutely use this bass. I mean, there's no disadvantage to it over the real thing other than the wood quality that I can see. It feels nice.
I know some people can hear a difference, but I don't think I could hear a difference in wood quality.
Well, I don't think I could either. I just, again, my experience in wood quality differences is that they manifest them. Well, there's one thing you can hear. Generally speaking, a really good piece of wood, the notes will sustain longer.
Yeah.
Like the H.S. Anderson Prince Telly that I have, the real thing, not the copy. Yeah. Like, if you have it unplugged and you just strum the strings and just listen to them resonate, they'll resonate for a long time. That's indicative of really good wood quality. And then the other difference is, just like I said, my and this could be, I'm completely making this up, but my impression is that when I have a cheaper guitar, Mexican Fender, a Squier Fender, Chinese, Indonesian, whatever, that when I do a lot of climate changes, the wood shifts more, and so I need to have them set up more often. Like when I used to tour with a Mexican Fender. This was long. You probably weren't even born yet. But I used to tour with a Mexican Strat, and you were born, but when that Strat got stolen, you would have been like 8 years old or something.
I think it was stolen in 2008.
Somewhere around there. Somewhere around there, yeah. But you would have been 7 or 8. So, I used to tour with it, and I'd have to get it set up every time when I went on the road and every time when I came back. Because the wood would change every time the climate changed, every time it got banged around the overhead bin in a plane, you know? And I've never actually tried it with a Harley Benton, but I would expect it to behave similar to a Mexican Fender or a good Squier Fender.
But it's cheaper.
Well, it's
a little bit.
It's cheaper, but I would assume the quality to me of these is about the same as a Mexican Fender.
Yeah.
My experience with the Harley Benton guitars is the quality wise is about the same as a Mexican Fender. So I would expect it to behave the same way a Mexican Fender would. So in other words, if I was going to be taking this on the road, I would expect to have to tweak it more than an American Fender or some other a Bass Mods or a Music Man or whatever, But other than that, I can't, and the fact that this is really heavy. Is it heavier than yours?
Yeah.
So that's the other reason I might not want to play it on stage every night, it being as heavy as it is. My shoulders might hurt after a while.
This, I noticed with the neck, it's very raw feeling, and I like that. But there's not like a lot of finish on the neck, so that's kind of nice. If you get sweaty hands, your hands won't stick.
My experience with all the Harley Benton guitars is that the necks are very raw. And so, like this one, I rubbed it down with mineral oil for a long time before I played it out.
Oh, yeah.
And it made it a lot smoother. I didn't do that with the bass because I didn't feel a need to. It didn't feel like I needed to. But especially with the guitars, I'll take the strings off, I'll rub it into the fretboard, I'll rub it into the back of the neck, and then it'll soak up that moisture.
Does it look a lot darker?
No. It doesn't change the look of it. It just makes it softer and smoother and less rough feeling. But with that one, it didn't bother me.
I think it's a solid bass.
Yeah.
And it's a damn good price.
Yeah. So I bought 2 Harley Benton basses. The other one hasn't arrived yet. The other one is a little more expensive, but it's a neck through and it's got active electronics. And I just figured if I'm going to buy a Harley Benton bass, I originally just bought the more expensive one. And my thing was, everybody's saying such good things about the J-Bass copy. For $130, I should just add it to my order. And I did. And they didn't charge me any extra for shipping or anything like that, which is nice. When you buy Harley Benton products, you can order one thing or 100 things. You can spend $5 or you can spend $5,000. And if you're in the U.S., shipping from Germany to the U.S. is $30. 30 euros, excuse me. It's like $33.
But that's constant?
Yeah.
That's right.
Flat rate shipping, 30 euros. So if 30 euros is 33, so that's on every 10 there's 1, so 100 would be 110. So the $130 bass would be like 145 is what I'm thinking the conversion is. But don't take my word for it. Just know that he's not very smart. He guessed wrong at 160. I'm almost positive of it.
If you look it up, you'll be right.
Who'll be right?
Whoever's watching?
That's true. If you look it up, you'll be right. He won't be right.
No, I mean, I might look it up and find some puppies accidentally.
You're not a very good Google user if you do that.
You just get distracted.
Yeah. You got distracted just there. I don't know what you were looking for.
I heard a pop.
That's because I think I must have got the cheap guitar wireless thing on here. So, yeah. I think we've said all we can say about the bass. I'm definitely going to use it the next time I do a session or a video that has bass on it. Either that or the other one. I'm excited to have them both. And if anybody's looking to buy my Dean, it's great. Wonderful bass. Best bass I ever played. Not really. It's just, it's great for what it is. Yeah. I kind of wondered if I should have made one of the basses that I bought a 5-string. I bought 2 4-strings. But that's because I can't play a 5-string.
Why have it if you can't use it?
There's a gospel bass player named because I would learn. I would teach myself. But there's a gospel bass player named Reggie Parker who takes great offense to anybody using more than 4 strings.
Oh, yeah?
Because so many great records have been made with just 4 strings. Prince used to hate more than 4-string basses. But isn't Sonny's bass 5-string?
Yeah, it's a 6-string.
See? That's the same fucking bass that Sonny was playing on the Diamonds and Pearls tour and all those subsequent tours. So Prince couldn't complain that much.
It is right.
And a good friend of mine, Andrew Goucher, played with Prince near the end. And Prince used to make fun of him for playing a 6-string bass. And then Goucher went to that low B on Purple Rain. And Prince just turned around like, hey. Like Goucher's like, that's what I got that string for. You know. But I didn't even think about the fact that Sonny,
I'm pretty sure it's 6.
It's got that white Warwick.
It's cool.
Yeah, it's a right-handed bass that he turns upside down and plays left-handed. I don't know. I mean, he does the same thing for guitar. You ever seen Sonny play guitar?
Yeah, he plays like this.
I mean, so this is completely off topic of the video, but Sonny Thompson is one of the best living bass players in the world. He was Prince's bass teacher and guitar teacher. He was Terry Lewis's bass teacher.
Of Terry Lewis and the Noobs.
No.
Pretty sure that was him. Oh God, that was bad.
That was actually kind of funny.
What?
That was actually kind of funny.
All right.
So that was, but unless they thought you were serious.
Terry Lewis and Timmy Tam.
Okay, now you're just desperate. Now you're just like, this is like bombing.
Yeah,
and you're just reaching for another bad joke, you know, until you fall off the stage.
Woo!
This is like, yeah.
There's no stage here, though.
I was doing a comedian metaphor. You were, like, comedians bombing, you know.
No, that's it.
Okay.
I mean, like, there's not a lot of pressure.
I don't know. I told you, YouTube commenters are brilliant.
I mean,
we've been off topic now for like 5 minutes, so I'm going to get some complaints at the bottom of this video. Worst bass review ever. Too much talking. Get to the point.
It's a good bass. I'm down.
Sonny Thompson, Jimmy Jam, and Terry Lewis is who you were looking for.
Yeah.
Dumbass. God. So, yeah, he was, yeah. You want to play something else? Play something funky. And if you're not funky enough... That's it? That's the end of the song? Play something I know.
I don't think I
can. You know any Prince stuff?
No.
Play When Doves Cry.
I can't.
The joke is that there's no bass. If you would have got the joke, you would have just sat there and played nothing. You would have been like, sure. He should have just not played anything.
Okay, I shouldn't have said anything.
Yeah, he just sat there.
Oh, let's try it again.
I'm like, perfect.
Try it again. You can edit that.
No, I'm not. No, Kiss also kind of doesn't have a bass line. You ever listen to the but they definitely do it live.
To the bass line?
Yeah, no, I'm stupid. Is this off? Why is there no sound all of a sudden? That's what they do on live, I think. And then something like that. what the guitar solo does
I
there.
hope
Well,
Sonny doesn't
that's
see
when he goes
this.
to the wah. What'd you say?
I hope Sonny doesn't see this.
I know, right?
That
Yeah,
kid's awful at bass. Maybe.
Yeah. No. What's with this 2 guitar player shit? So, anyhow, yeah. So, there's the Harley Benton bass. We're having fun with it. We got 2 Harley Benton products here. In fact, I might title the video Harley Benton Jam with Idiot. So,
slow person.
with slow person. And, see, that's where he goes to the wah wah. You know, Just doesn't sound right without the wah wah though. That's like the part of the guitar solo where he turns the wah on. It's so random. It's like a perfect Prince thing. Like it sounds like he just did it on the fly. You know, without even really thinking about it, but he probably thought it through.
Well, I think we should thank our cameraman, Jimmy.
What Earth, Wind & Fire song is that? I can't remember what else. Sing that song.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
there we go.
You know the Earth, Wind & Fire?
Nope.
You should be able to play that. What key are you in? It's in E, so. I can't sing both sides. I can sing it all, but I think I can sing it all. What's other like classic Earth, Wind & Fire bass lines?
I don't know how September goes, but some people know that song.
I know the guitar part. The bass. I don't know what the bass is. I mean, I know what the chords are. Like I know but what's actually playing? What's he actually playing? I mean, it starts on the 4. I don't know what the actual bass line is. Then there's 2 guitars. One's going the other one's doing the.
I can do that part.
I can too. Well, thanks for if anybody who stuck with us all the way to the end. What's wrong with you? And thanks for hanging out. I should have given you sugar. This is what's wrong with children today. Is this your Mono Neon impression, maybe, or what? Because you'll have to do better than that. Okay, well, anything else you want to tell anybody who's stupid enough to stick around? So how long have we been in here? 40 minutes of fucking around?
Jesus Christ, it felt like nothing at all.
Time flies when you're with somebody really stupid. So,
Feels like nothing at all. Skin.
This is supposed to be G-rated, same.
It is.
Thanks for watching.